Today on the Film and Whiskey podcast, we are continuing our bracket challenge with the round of 16. We're going to be whittling this thing down to just 8 remaining movies. We're going to be drinking whiskey while we do it, and we're giving out the coveted Filmy Awards. That's all ahead on Film and Whiskey.
At Sierra, discover great deals on top brand workout gear, like high-quality walking shoes, which might lead to another discovery.
40,000 steps, baby! Who's on top now, Karen?
You've taken the office step challenge a step too far. Don't worry, though. Sierra also has yoga gear. It might be a good place to find your zen. Discover top brands at unexpectedly low prices. Sierra, let's get moving.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon Prime. From streaming to shopping, Prime helps you get more out of your passions. So whether you're a fan of true crime or prefer a nail-biting novel from time to time, with services like Prime Video, Amazon Music, and fast free delivery, Prime makes it easy to get more out of whatever you're into or getting into. Visit Amazon.com/Prime to learn more.
Hey everybody, welcome into the Film and Whiskey podcast. I'm Bob Book.
I'm Brad G.
And Brad G, we didn't say this last time, but you know what kind of episode this is?
This is a bracket episode, Bob.
Well, I mean, but in the larger category, in the big scheme of things. It's a bonus episode.
It's a bonus episode.
We don't do enough bonus episodes anymore, man. We have busy lives now. So this is a real treat to get to hear that from you.
Yeah, it does not get shared as often as it ought.
And in the spirit of the bonus episode, and not doing enough of them, we are bringing you extra bonus episodes. Because for the first time ever, we have divided the bracket challenge into 3 episodes. We tried our damnedest to get that thing down to under an hour, and we just barely made it, and we had only made it halfway through what we intended to do. So you get another episode. Brad, this is the first time we've done the round of 16 as its own thing.
Yeah, and I'm very excited for it. I think, A, we went really long on the first round.
Yep.
And B, this is a heck of a lineup of movies, Bob. We watched a ton of great cinema this year.
We sure did, man. Modern classics indeed. And I'll go ahead and real quick, let's go through the list of 16 films remaining. Folks, if this is your first time joining Film and Whiskey, why did you choose this episode, first of all? Like, why is this your first one? But, you know, welcome in. We're glad to have you. But maybe go back and listen to the prior episode where we start with the full battery of movies from this season. We started with 32 films, and these are the 16 remaining. Whiplash, Ratatouille, 1917, La La Land, Parasite, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Inside Out, The Holdovers, Oppenheimer, The Wolf of Wall Street, How to Train Your Dragon, Mad Max Fury Road, Past Lives, Jojo Rabbit, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Godzilla -1. Dude, I think things are going to start to get a little harder this time around, Brad.
Yeah, it's going to be a little spicy this round of 16, Bob.
Now, while we get through these, we are going to be trying one whiskey today from our friends at Old Hamer. We tried the West Fork whiskey last episode. I liked it better than Brad did, but he has assured me that he likes these Old Hamers a little bit better. I think maybe today, Brad, do you want to do the Cask Strength Old Hamer, or do you want to do the rum barrel finished?
I think we should do the Cask Strength.
Okay.
You know, stick with a more typical expression, and then we'll move into their finished product with the final episode.
I like it, man. But before we get into all that, folks, you can follow along with this bracket. If you haven't already done so, go to our website, filmwhiskey.com. That's filmwhiskey with an E.com. The season 9 bracket will be at the top banner. You can download your own copy, and please share with us who your pick for the season 9 champion would be. Whether or not Brad and I have already thrown that movie into the fiery chasm, that doesn't mean it has to be in your fiery chasm. You know what I'm saying?
That sounds like a personal problem.
Bro, as soon as I said it, I was like, dang, what's in your fiery chasm, folks? So
that's a great question.
On that note, Brad, first of all, folks, if your chasm is fiery, you want to get that checked out by a doctor.
You should see a professional.
100%. Brad, let's dive into the bracket. We have 16 films remaining. We're going to start in the top left quadrant. Last time around, we named these after celebrities and their birthdays. I don't remember a single thing about it. What are we calling this quadrant this time around, Brad?
We are in the George Lucas universe over here.
Oh, are we sticking with the old ones? You're not going to take the opportunity to just rename?
We're going to rename the brackets?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, sure. We could call this the Ryan Johnson can go blow a fat one.
Yikes. Okay,
bracket.
Never mind. So the George Lucas quadrant here. We're starting with the number 1 overall seed, Whiplash, up against the number 16 seed, Ratatouille. Now, I would hear arguments for Ratatouille in this matchup, Brad, and I know a lot of people love that movie. I was slightly underwhelmed this time around. You know, when you watch a movie for the podcast with a really critical eye, kind of looking for flaws, you're going to find them, right? And I think I did with Ratatouille this time around. I think pretty crucially, I didn't find very many with Whiplash.
Yeah. Whiplash is one of the closer to a perfect film, like, movies that we've ever watched.
Mm-hmm.
I truly don't know anything they could have done to make that movie better.
I think if he didn't get hit by a semi-truck and then just walk away, that probably would have been. That's like the only part of that movie that I'm like, you could have done something a little different here. Have him drive into a telephone pole or something, you know?
Sure. Yeah, that, totally. That was the choice. I'm pretty sure it's just, a regular old, like, Dodge Ram. I don't think it's a semi-truck.
Yeah, whatever. In any case, that's like the only flaw I can find in that movie. And for me, it's a pretty easy candidate to move on into the round of 8.
Yeah. Whiplash. I came into the season expecting it to be my number 1 movie. It was my number 2 in my heart list. So, yeah, Whiplash is moving on.
All right. So we have our first entry into the round of 8. It is Whiplash. Now let's go to the final matchup in the Lucas quadrant here. We're talking about the number 9 overall seed, 1917, versus the number 8 overall seed, La La Land. I have a feeling you know where I'm going to go here, Brad.
Yeah, in the wrong direction, Bob.
Well, make your case. Make your case for La La Land.
It's a beautiful film. The jazz influence on Damien Chazelle and the movie as a whole is like so clear and beautiful, and not just in the amount of jazz they talk about, but the way that they shoot the film. The lighting is moody and beautiful, and there's like bright colors where there need to be. There is so much to love about the way this movie looks, paired with an absolutely heartbreakingly beautiful story of people who are doing their best to make it in life, to fight their way to the top. Like, it really is an American, like, story of people trying to find love on the way to making it in the worlds that they occupy. And, they don't end up together in the end. And there's something beautiful about that. And there's a nostalgia between them as they see each other one last time, and yet a contentedness with where they're at. There's just so much to love about this movie. And on top of that, the music is great. So you can take your Fred Astaire comparisons and eat them, but this is one of the greatest movies made in the last 20 years.
I really did think you were going to continue like the fiery chasm metaphor. Say that I can stick those Fred Astaire comparisons in my fiery
right up
chasm.
your fiery chasm.
Listen, I just think the 1917 is a slightly better movie. La La Land is a good movie, and I think on many views I would call it like a very good, bordering on great movie. I think 1917 I think I gave it a 9.5. Like, it works like clockwork, partially because it functions like a clock. It's just a great ticking time bomb of a movie. I had a blast watching that in the theater. I had a blast rewatching it this time around. I did pick 1917 to move on. Now, Brad, because La La Land is the higher seeded film in the bracket at the 8 seed, it will be heads when you flip the coin of destiny to determine the winner here. So La La Land is heads, 1917 is tails. Brad, for a spot in the final 8, flip that coin.
Ah, jeez. Dropped it. Let me redo.
Boo! Boo!
Bob, upon redo, even though it fell and landed on heads, it was not a proper coin toss, and it has now landed on tails.
Oh! Man, a major upset for you. We almost had a Chazelle versus Chazelle.
And I was looking forward to it.
Like a guaranteed Chazelle entry in the Final Four.
Yeah. There's something about Damien Chazelle and Edgar Wright that, like, I just love those two guys as, like, young directors who have nailed a few really great movies. Mm-hmm. And I want to see everything that those two guys put out. So a top 8 Chazelle v. Chazelle would have been awesome.
Well, alas, it is not to be. So now we're moving down into the next quadrant, which, again, I have no idea what this quadrant was called. We're going to say this was not the Bobby Z quadrant.
This was the Blanchett bracket. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so we're looking at the number 4 overall seed, Parasite, up against the number 13 seed, Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse. Again, a really interesting matchup, Brad. I was blown away by Into the Spider-Verse this time around. Parasite is a movie that every single time I try watching it again, I want it to be a 10 out of 10 for me. And it just, like, it never is. It's a very good movie. And I would call it a 10 until the last, 20 minutes for me. And partially it's because of my in-theater experience watching it. I don't think I'm a qualified person to speak on these matters. What did you go with here? I went with Parasite. I think Into the Spider-Verse is a very well-made movie. It's very interesting and fun and dynamic. I think Parasite is a capital M movie. Like, it was well deserving of the 2019 Oscar for Best Picture in a field that we have established was absolutely freaking stacked. So, in my opinion, I think Parasite is the very obvious winner here.
I also chose Parasite. It's a little less obvious for me, but it's one of those instances where I have to kind of take a step back. And even though in my heart, I don't know which one I would pick here, I think it makes more sense for Parasite to move on. So no drama in this one. Parasite moves on to the round of 8. And that takes us to our final matchup on the whole left side of the bracket here. The number 12 seed, Inside Out, up against the number 5 seed, The Holdovers. I have no idea what direction you went here, Brad. Let me just say, this is the first matchup in either round that I feel very strongly about and will be horrifically upset if it does not go my way.
Oh, man, that makes me want to make certain decisions, Bob. Here's the thing, man. Inside Out is a top-tier Pixar film. I do think that the second one might be better. I think this one's more streamlined than the second one, but man, the second one's incredible. I think they nailed it with Inside Out. They proved that they still had it in the mid-2010s. The Holdovers is better, though.
Yes!
Yeah,
Brad!
I moved The Holdovers on. I love The Holdovers, dude.
You've seen the light.
I've seen the light since the moment I saw it. I really like The Holdovers. It is a well-deserved Oscar nomination for Paul Giamatti, who is one of the best actors of our generation. Like, he is just incredible. Dominic, doesn't destroy the film. He is good and passable. Divine Joy Randolph is just killer in her supporting role. A true Paul Giamatti performance, if there ever was one.
Dude, I'm so happy. This was a fairly drama-free side of the bracket. Only one bit of controversy between the two of us.
Drama-free for you, Robert.
I'm like, how many have we done now? 16. We've done 20 picks. I've only missed one so far. I'm doing okay. I'm doing all right, man.
I think I've only missed one as well. Bob, I think this is a unique year. We're very much so in agreement.
I know. I'll tell you how much goodwill I'm feeling towards you right now, Brad. Before we dive into this whiskey, I think we should give out our first couple Filmy awards of the season. Now, folks, we have not been able to come up with a better name for the Film and Whiskey Awards than the Filmies. A horrendous name for an award, but it's endearing.
It's a perfect name, Bob.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. So we've come up with quite a few filmies this season because we have now 3 episodes to fill. And I thought we'd get a little bit fun with some of these possibilities this time around, Brad. So why don't you introduce our first Filmy award to the general public?
The first Filmy of 2025 is the Most Overqualified Actor in a Thankless Role Award.
Oh, man. This
Who is it,
good.
Bob? Who of these 32 films is just, you know, we should we should rename this the Kane and Duvall Secondhand Lions Award. Like, what are they doing in that movie? It makes no sense, but they're perfect in it. Do you want me to go first here? Because
Sure.
I think I have my answer.
Yeah, I'd love to hear yours.
I think this goes to Stanley Tucci in Spotlight.
Oh, that's
Like,
a good one.
He freaking nails it. He and Paul Giamatti are like the greatest supporting actors of all time. And it's so easy to forget that Tucci is in that movie because, you know, he's kind of got that wig and just, you know, he just looks different. But he nails it. And he brings that emotional weight at the end of the film when he's like, yeah, you nailed it. You did great. I'm going to talk to another victim right now.
Mm-hmm. So here's why I'd push back on that, because the category is overqualified actor in a thankless role. And I actually think that you need a Tucci in a role like that to make that role stick. Like, when I think about this performance, I'm like, it's more of just like, why is he in this movie? Like, this could have been played by just like stock actor number 3.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm struggling, man. I think that a good one, we talked about this on the episode, would be John Goodman in Argo. Because, like, does John Goodman need to be in that role? No. But does it make the movie? Yes. That kind of takes away from the thanklessness. I think my pick would be Ralph Fiennes as the new M in Skyfall.
Oh.
You could get any British person to play M. He barely shows up. He just says, Bond, damn it. And then Bond walks away. Having an actor of Ralph Fiennes' caliber,
Bond, damn it, so well.
better than anyone in the world. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go with Ralph Fiennes here. So, what do you think, man? Who's the winner between our two?
Oh, I'll give it to Ralph Fiennes. I think that's fair.
All right. All right,
Yeah.
Rafe, you can come collect your award at Brad's house.
It will be waiting for you.
All right, the second Filmy we're going to give out this time around, Brad, is an interesting one. Best final shot of a movie. Now, this is an interesting one because I know for a fact you probably can't remember half the final shots in most of these movies, but you seemed very opinionated when you brought this one up before we started recording. So I'm interested to hear your best final shot.
Man, honestly, I think that there are a few great options. I think Inside Out, when, you know, they talk about her growing up and the panel's expanding and they're all working together, great end of the movie. I want to say, oh man, you're going to hate this, Bob. I think I'm going to say Parasite. Like, you get that final shot, it's like a crane shot, and you're like not sure about the reality of everything that's happening. There's like hope that's like almost like curdling into delusion. And it, like, I don't know, man, there's a depth of emotion there that is just nails it.
If I pick 1917, do I get to count the entire movie as the final shot?
Yeah, yes, Bob. That obviously.
I did it. All right, here's a couple other possibilities for me, Brad. I think Oppenheimer is a pretty obvious choice here. The shot of him imagining the world blowing up and then it ending on his harrowed face, I think is an all-time great closing shot for a movie, a real sucker punch. I think the final shot of Whiplash, where you just get him hitting the symbol and it cutting to black after everything that's just happened, is really, really good. I think Mad Max Fury Road, as you see the women and Furiosa getting lifted on that platform, and then as it lifts off the screen, it just fades to black. That's a great shot.
I was just thinking about Mad Max. I might have to change my answer.
I think Oppenheimer is the one that probably has the most cultural cachet, but I'd be okay with Mad Max if you want to go that route.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Mad Max because It's one of the greatest movies ever created.
All right, there you go. Mad Max Fury Road, you have the best final shot in a movie that's not called 1917. So what a great award to win. Brad, let's drink some whiskey, man, before we get to the second part of this episode. Today, we are sticking with West Fork whiskey, but we're trying a different label of theirs called Old Hamer. Now, we're going to go with the Old Hamer Cask Strength. We have another one to drink in episode number 3. Old Hamer was an Indiana brand over a century ago that West Fork acquired the rights to the name for and resurrected it. Now, crucially, Brad, they are not using their own distillate in this brand. They're using MGP for this distillate. It looks like the mash bill on this is 99% corn, 1% malted barley. So this is an almost entirely corn mash bill here. It's, again, made at MGP in new charred oak barrels, which now makes it a bourbon. Apparently they had bought the light whiskey distillate, and then by putting it in those charred oak barrels, it is now a bourbon. It's only aged for 3 years, which I find interesting because we just drank the Bottled and Bond from West Fork at 4 years, and that tasted a little young to us. So I'm interested to see what MGP can do in even less time here.
This also is coming in at Cask Strength. It is 118.2 proof, which means it's got a little bit of heft to it.
It sure does, man. Now, just for, those people out there who are collecting every bottle of Old Hamer they can find, this is batch number 32. Brad and I are both diving into it right now. Brad, what are your nosing notes on this Cask Strength Old Hamer?
This is like just a beautiful classic bourbon experience. There is caramel and vanilla. The vanilla reminds me of like a really rich vanilla frosting. With the amount of corn that is in this, maybe it's because I knew the mash bill, but I was like sifting it around in my glass, and I was like, "Oh, this kind of smells like a cob of buttered corn before you put salt on it." Like it's just really kind of creamy, and there is like a little bit of a marshmallow vibe going on. Really pleasant nose overall. I'll give it a 7.5 here.
Yeah, I think that overall, it's not a very complex nose. Like, it's pretty one note, and it's like dusty corn. It smells a little bit light and thin on the on the nose, which does not bode well necessarily. But there was one interesting note that it was this kind of sweet, powdery smell, and I kept bouncing back and forth between, is it toasted marshmallow or is it like pink bubble gum? And I think it's a little bit of both. You definitely nailed it on the marshmallow. I'll say bubble gum, just so it's in our notes here, Brad. I'm going to give it just a 7 out of 10 on the nose.
I think when you get into the palate, I'm kind of on a cereal kick with West Fork and Old Hamer. This reminds me of cornflakes quite a bit, with like a little bit of sugar added. It got more spicy for me than I expected.
Yeah,
There's like some really nice black pepper stuff going on. There's a little bit of a cherry note that I'm picking up, almost like a maraschino cherry juice. Really sweet. Overall, man, this is a really pleasant drinking experience. I'm going to stick it a 7.5.
Yeah, I like this a lot, dude. Again, could it have benefited from another year or two in the barrel? I think so. Way more syrupy sweet than I thought it would be, and actually much more viscous, too. It's spicy all the way through, right on the tip of the tongue, all the way across the palate. There's a lot of like alcohol burn and prickle here, but it opens up these layers of like black pepper. For me, it was a ton of like vanilla buttercream frosting right at the tip of my tongue. And then it expanded into some pretty classic bourbon flavors. I got maple on this. I got a little bit of like the buttered popcorn Jelly Belly on this as well. Ooh. That sort of sweetened corn. I really like this a lot, man. And it does pack a punch, but I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 on the palate.
Wow. Yeah, I think the finish is really good. The black pepper really sticks around. It gets a little bit oaky, but in a way that makes me appreciate the 3 years. It's like just enough of an oak taste to enhance the experience. The corn definitely sticks around to the end. Yep. I'm a little bit cooler on the finish. I wish it had a little more complexity of flavor. I wish it moved on from the nose and the palate, but it is what it is. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 here.
I think I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10 again. It's a very specific finish. It's pretty short and it's very, very sweet. But I think we've talked about this on the podcast before. Brad and I were part of a spirits judging competition a couple years ago where I fell in love with this Mexican liqueur called Nixta. It reminds me of like if I took a shot of that, which is just basically like sugar corn, and then tried this to kind of see what it could become. It's a great bridge from like Nixta to this to more like high rye bourbons. And this has that syrupy sweet note at the very back. I really do love this a lot, man. This is kind of like an ideal for what a younger whiskey should taste like to me. Like heavy on the sweetness, and it nails like the notes it needs to nail here. So I'm going to give it another 8 out of 10. And then when it comes to the balance, I'm quite high on this. I think I'll give it an 8.5 overall, Brad.
I'll give it a 7.5. I've been at a 7.5 for everything but the finish. I think this is an overall really well balanced, fun expression of whiskey. And I think the fact that they are selling it for $50 is a really good value. Mm-hmm. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 on value, dude.
I think I am too, because like if you wanted somebody to taste, this is not necessarily like this is not categorized as a corn whiskey, right? So I don't want to compare this to mellow corn. But if you were trying to get an idea of what an all corn or a nearly all corn bourbon would taste like, or something that has that corn forward profile, I would recommend this over mellow corn 100 times out of 100.
Dude, any day of the week.
I know it's twice as expensive, but it's worth it. So I'm giving it an 8 out of 10 here, Brad. And that is taking me to an extraordinarily high 39.5 out of 50 here.
Yeah, I'm 2 points below you. I'm at a 37.5 out of 50.
So West Fork, I hope you guys listened to our second episode and not just the first one. I'm sorry that for the lower scores on the other whiskey, but listen, we shoot straight here. This one is phenomenal. We're coming out to a 77 out of 100 or a 38.5 out of 50. Now for context, 35 is where we usually start recommending with a pretty hearty thumbs up. 40 is like a no-brainer recommendation. I'm very close to a no-brainer here, Brad. For $50, this is a damn good whiskey.
Yeah. In the current world of whiskey, $50 doesn't go as far as it used to, and I think you could spend it extraordinarily well on this Old Hamer Cask Strength.
All right, man. Well, man, what a great day we're having here. Very little disagreement. Good whiskey, good awards. What do you say we get back into the bracket, Brad?
I am so ready, Bob. Let's get to it.
All right, here we go.
New Phineas and Ferb is here.
We're back, baby.
For 104 more days
I know what we're gonna do today.
of summer vacation.
I am ready for summer shenanigans. Let's do it. Oh, yeah.
All right! We're gonna bust Phineas and Ferb once and for all!
Are we gonna do this again?
New inventions, shenanigans, innators, adventures, and songs.
Brand new summer vacation.
New Phineas and Ferb starts June 5th on Disney Channel and next day on Disney Plus on DisneyPlus.Disney.com.
Hey there, travelers. Kaylee Cuoco here. Sorry to interrupt your music, great artist BT Dubs, but wouldn't you rather be there to hear it live? With Priceline, you can get out of your dreams and into your dream concert. They've got millions of travel deals to get you to that festival, gig, rave, sound bath, or sonic experience you've been dreaming of. Download the Priceline app today, and you can save up to 60% off hotels and up to 50% off flights. So don't just dream about that trip. Book it with Priceline.
Go to your happy price, Priceline.
All right, everybody, that was Old Hamer Cask Strength, a whiskey that really impressed us, Bob.
Yeah, that was really good, man.
Speaking of things that impress us, not Bobby Zemeckis, but this is his bracket, his memorial bracket, in memory of a good filmmaker.
Who is very much still with us, yeah.
Yes.
The memorial bracket. It makes me laugh every time you say that, dude. All right, the first matchup in the Bob Zemeckis memorial bracket is the number 2 seed Oppenheimer up against the 15 seed The Wolf of Wall Street. Now, Brad, some matchups require a lot of conversation. I don't believe this is one of them, but who knows? Maybe you'll throw me a curveball here.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Wolf of Wall Street's moving on. It's made by Martin Scorsese, Bob.
I know.
How could you not move it on? This is pure cinema right here.
Unimpeachable, man. Did Robert Oppenheimer throw any little people at a dartboard? I think not.
What a great movie, dude. How many movies can you say that sentence about?
I know. I'm trying to think of all the stuff when they're like going through the legality of it. You know what I mean?
It's just pure comedy. Like one of the funniest movies I've ever seen.
It's a really good movie. However,
also, don't go watch Wolf of Wall Street. It's probably not good for your soul.
Probably not. At least don't go watch it with your mom. You know, that's definitely not a movie that you want to take home to Thanksgiving with you.
Should that be a filmy movie? you definitely shouldn't
watch with your mom.
Because Wolf of Wall Street would probably win.
That wins easily. I think Oppenheimer moves on here, Brad.
Also a candidate for a movie I don't want to watch with my mom.
Yeah, but I think, we could share in the harrowing experience of Oppenheimer. I don't know if my relationship with my mom survives the Wolf of Wall Street. That's just, you don't want to ask that of anyone, man.
Oh, man. Well, Oppenheimer, the 2024 Best Picture winner, is moving on. Our next matchup is between How to Train Your Dragon and Mad Max Fury Road.
How much do you want to be witnessed, Brad?
I want you to witness me so hard, Bob.
Can I witness you ride off into the fiery chasm is the real question here, Brad.
Dude, if you put How to Train Your Dragon over Mad Max, I
100% put How to Train Your Dragon over Mad Max.
Get the heck out of here, dude. There's no
really
chance
like Mad Max. Here's the thing about Mad Max. I really like it. I really like it. And I think that it is certainly a bigger artistic achievement than How to Train Your Dragon. I think it's also one of those things where it's like, this is a singular and unique work of art, and I celebrate that. But like, it's a weird ass movie, And like, there are moments of the movie where it's like, this is great for being a weird ass movie, and there are other parts of this movie that I'm like, this is an 8. I think in the balance of things, this is like a 9 out of 10 for me. I'm kind of in the same place with How to Train Your Dragon, and maybe it's because I'm a dad of small boys right now. I am truly shocked at how well How to Train Your Dragon works for people of all ages. Like, it is a really well-made action movie that also happens to be for kids. I moved it on.
Oh my, I didn't even expect this. I wasn't prepared, Bob.
I told you in the Mad Max Fury Road episode, like, it's a good movie.
I think I ignored that because your opinion is invalid. There's only one opinion on Mad Max Fury Road, Bob, and that is, it's one of the greatest movies ever made.
Listen, I wholly and heartily understand that, like, I am in the small minority here. It is perhaps the best reviewed movie of this entire century. It just isn't quite there for me. It's a good movie. It is certainly in the pantheon. It will be in our 21st century canon. But if you're talking heart movies, I'm going How to Train Your Dragon, man.
Oh, man. I knew your heart was flawed. But here we are, about to flip the coin. Mad Max Fury Road is going to be heads as the number 7 seed. How to Train Your Dragon, the lesser film, is going to be our 10 seed at tails. So, are you ready, Bob?
Before you flip it, I will 100% admit to you.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably the lesser film.
Thank you.
But if you're asking me to be honest as a person, I have to choose it. How I am.
You're going to shove Tom Hardy and Charlize Theron up your fiery chasm. You're willing to do that?
Don't threaten me with a good time, man. Brad, flip that coin.
Hey, Bob.
Yeah.
Witness me!
Witness me. I'm happy it moved on. That was a kind of indefensible pick for me. I had to be true to my heart, but I'm glad Fury Road moved on.
Like any good Disney princess, Bob has been true to his heart. Mad Max is moving on.
Brad, I think before we get too contentious, because my heart is on the line here with this next matchup, let's give out a couple more filmies. You want to lead the way on these ones?
Yeah. Our next filmy is the Why Wasn't This Nominated for Best Picture award.
I feel like that's half of our movies, man.
Yeah, it could also be called the Dark Knight Award, I believe.
Very much.
I don't know, man. Where are you at on best pictures that should have been from this season?
Well, let's see. Was Whiplash nominated?
I would say the interesting thing is many of these films were nominated. If Whiplash wasn't nominated, that's the winner.
Yeah. It's our number one seed.
Yeah, so Whiplash was indeed nominated for the Academy Award for Best Picture at the 87th Academy Awards, Bob.
All right, I'm looking through this list, and it really is like at least 2/3 of these that were nominated for Best Picture. So that really whittles it down. I'm going to throw out a couple that I know weren't. I think the one that we could both kind of coalesce around here, Brad, is Godzilla -1.
Yeah.
I think Ratatouille and Inside Out probably could get nods as well, but Godzilla, man.
Yeah, probably Godzilla. I mean, we could also flip the award. Why did this get nominated for Best Picture?
That's a great one.
What of the Best Picture noms are you like, huh?
I mean, I could say Argo, a movie that won Best Picture.
Yeah. I would say Argo. I'd say Ford v. Ferrari.
Joker.
I don't. Oh, yes, obviously. Didn't Joker win it?
No, he won Best Actor, but thankfully it was one of the 2019 entries. So.
Oh, Parasite. Okay.
Yep. All right. Well, Joker, we hate you, and also Godzilla -1. Come pick up your "You Should Have Been Nominated" award.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Our next filmy is the most effective use of a non-original song, or as we like to call it, best needle drop. Now, we had a lot of movies this season that had fantastic scores, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about non-original. So all the La La Land music, except for when they do the scene where they sing I Ran, is pretty much ineligible. It's got to be an existing piece of music from outside that movie that they plopped into a movie. Brad, where are you going with this one?
Man, that is a really good question. I mean, Tarantino is obviously a master of needle drops, and I think Out of Time is really great in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I think, though, I am going to go with a foreign language song. I am going to go with the German version of Heroes by David Bowie at the end of Jojo Rabbit.
That was my pick as well.
Oh, let's go, dude.
Yep, that was my pick. I actually like that scene. I think people hate it, and it is corny, and it is cheesy, but watching those two kids dance and be happy at the end of that movie is just, it warms my cold, dead heart, you know?
Yeah, it fires up your fiery inferno, Bob.
No, it does not. Nope. We're not going there, Brad. Don't you dare put that on me, sir.
Don't you put that juju on me, Ricky Bobby.
All right, Jojo Rabbit, you can come pick up your one and only award from Film and Whiskey, because as we transition back into the bracket, we have a matchup here, Brad. It's the number 3 overall seed, Past Lives, up against Jojo Rabbit, the number 19 seed. I suppose the only question to ask, Brad, is where did you go with this matchup? Because you know for damn sure where I went.
Listen, man, Past Lives is an incredible film.
No.
From start to finish. Like, you have just a beautiful, like the opening scene where like two random people are discussing, as anybody would, like, what do you think's going on over there? You got two, Asian folk and an American guy just hanging out. They obviously don't all speak the same language.
No.
And then ensuing film is this beautiful masterpiece of missed opportunities and the fluency of language and how that plays in our relationships. There's so much to love about Past Lives. And that's why I moved it on past Jojo Rabbit.
Oh, thank God. Dude, listen, half the reason that I was excited about Fury Road winning the last matchup is because I've started to believe in bad juju and karma in these brackets. And I was like, if I knock out Fury Road, then Brad's going to knock out Past Lives. I just knew it. So
yeah.
Thank goodness there is no controversy here. The far superior Past Lives is moving on here.
Bob, I love Jojo Rabbit. I think it's a beautiful, fun film that has an important message about humanity and brokenness and the ridiculousness of blindly following propagandistic dictators. Like it's a great film. Past Lives is a much better movie.
Yes. I knew that I had taught you something over the course of these 9 seasons, Brad. All right, listen. Here's the last matchup.
You're welcome, Bob.
It's a matchup that's going to piss you all the way off, Brad, because you could just tell from the seeding of these two where I went. So it's Brad's number 1 seed or number 1 favorite heart film of the year, Everything Everywhere All at Once, up against the number 6 seed, Godzilla -1. Now, Everything Everywhere is the 11 seed. So Brad had it at first. Where does that tell you about where I had it? It is a really good movie.
Where did
that
you
is
have
not
it?
as good. I don't know, like 25th.
Oh,
like somewhere in there. It's good.
Oh, my soul.
It's good.
Bob, this Everything Everywhere All at Once is so stunningly beautiful. The message it tells about human relationships is so vastly important, and it does it in a fun, wild, way that justifies the existence of movies as a medium.
You've said that line a couple times now about that movie, and I'm so happy for you. I love that it does that for you.
You can't tell me it didn't do it for you, because you walked out of the theaters feeling very similarly to me.
I felt like it was a great movie. I don't know that I said this justifies the existence, as if I was looking for a reason for cinema to exist, like having an existential crisis. And then I was like, here is our savior.
It's not that there was an existential crisis, Bob. It's just that moment when you're walking through life and suddenly a beautiful flower opens up right in front of you and you're just like, wow, like the serendipity, the thing I most needed and I didn't even know it. That is Everything Everywhere All at Once.
For me, it wasn't so much
dildos and hot dog fingers and all.
For me, it wasn't so much a beautiful flower opening as much as it was an ancient nuclear monster rising from the deep, covered in icicles, prepared to blast a nuclear bomb upon the folks of Japan in a horrifically horrifying way. That was also the most badass imagery I'd seen in years. Godzilla -1 absolutely clears Everything Everywhere All at Once for me. And
dude,
will I hate to break your heart if this flip doesn't go your way? I will, but I feel very strongly that Godzilla is just a better movie.
Godzilla -1 is not a better movie. It's an incredible film. I absolutely loved it. It was the joy of my life to bring Michael Klingus onto the show. Dear, dear friend. However, Everything Everywhere All at Once very clearly has a larger impact. It is a bigger film in a lot of ways. The choice is obvious here, Bob. We are moving on Everything Everywhere All at Once.
No.
Before we close out this episode.
We're not. Maybe we are, but we got to do it through a coin flip. So by virtue of being the higher seed, Godzilla -1 is heads in this coin flip. Everything Everywhere is tails. Brad, for the future of your bracketing life, flip that coin.
Robert, the coin has been flipped. Destiny has spoken. The bagel consumes all.
Ah, damn it. The bagel consumes all. Dang it, dude. I truly hate to send Godzilla off into the abyss here, man.
I don't worry. He will emerge about 200 years from now, full of nuclear power, ready to annihilate your hopes and dreams once again.
Can I give out a brief filmy for word Brad has mispronounced the most times over the course of this season?
What would that be, Robert?
That would be the word nuclear, which George W. Bush apparently taught you to say as nuclear. And based on the fact that we had Godzilla and Oppenheimer and a whole bunch of war movies, you have used the word nuclear conservatively 7,000 times this season, Brad.
And you got to listen to it at least 2 or 3 times more with editing.
Because I was editing it all.
You are welcome. It's the curse of St. Louis all over again.
It's one of those things that never bothered me before. And then by the end of the season, I was like screaming at my computer. Like, It comes from the nucleus. It's nuclear. It's not nuclear. Like, I have become a madman, Brad.
Yeah, I was aware of that many years ago.
Well, you're feeding into it more now. Hey, listen, man, we've got a couple more filmies to give out here. I think in the spirit of this podcast, we are a group of people that really appreciate the old 90-minute movie, not just because it's short, but because we respect when a filmmaker can condense the entire story and really maximize the movie per minute. And I think that that's a good filmy, right? Like most movie per minute, or like maximum amount of cinema, bang for your buck. It doesn't have to be a short movie, but like which movie made the best use of its time for you, Brad?
Man, that is a good question. It's kind of tough. I mean, are we sticking to like a 99 or less minutes?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, then it's Whiplash. Like, I think Whiplash is like an hour and 45 minutes, which, you know, if you count credits, it's probably like an hour 38, 39. I mean, if we're going for most bang for your buck, I have to say Whiplash. I don't remember, how long was Spider-Man?
It's long. It's like an hour and 50, I think.
Okay.
And it took a while to get going at the beginning, as I remember.
It did. I was thinking, like, you know, if that was a true 90-minute film, that might be best bang for your buck as far as, like, action and fun and Whiplash, dude.
I think I wrote down 3 candidates for this. Whiplash is one of them. I think it's definitely skewed towards movies where the plot of the movie means you can't waste a minute. So, like, Whiplash is an obvious one here. I think Fury Road is right there, too. Like, from the very beginning, they're like, let's start chasing people. And it's the same thing with 1917. You know, it's just like you get 30 seconds of setup of like, here's these 2 guys. Okay, now the colonel wants to see you go on this mission. So any of those 3 movies, I think, would be a good choice. I really thought you'd go Fury Road here, but I'm with you, man. I think Whiplash definitely wins this award.
That's wild, dude, because I guess my brain was stuck on the 90 minutes element of it. I actually do think Mad Max gives you more movie for your minute.
Oh, it definitely gives you a lot of movie. That's for sure.
I'm going Mad Max Fury Road. That is, if the qualification is most movie for your minute, how can you get more cinema, more action, more witnessing than the 2 hours you would spend watching Mad Max Fury Road?
You know what? I'm not even going to argue with you, man. I'll let you have this one. Fury Road is going to get a second filmy in this episode. And that takes us to our final filmy of the day. One that I hope warms our hearts, Brad. It's the movie that's most improved by watching it with a friend. You know, we do this with every movie, Brad. Despite our differences, you're one of my best friends in the world. It's nice to talk about movies with you. But I think that there are certain movies that, like, we can sit at our laptops and watch a movie before we record. But there's just like some layer of the communal experience makes that watching like just better. And I think that, again, this is going to skew towards movies that have an element of fun. Like, you can't just be like, oh, Oppenheimer, so that I could, you know, be shell shocked at the end of that movie communally, right? There's definitely got to be
watch Florence Pugh be naked with my friend.
Right. There's got to be an element of fun, so I'm sure it's going to skew that way. I'd love to hear what your finalists are for this one.
I think that John Wick is up there. Like, you know, it's a fine action movie, but like getting 3 or 4 guys together and having John Wick on and drinking whiskey would be a great time. Man, I think some other options. I mean, Whiplash, I have watched with a group of friends, and it plays so well to a group of people, especially because it's so quick. I think District 9 would be a sneaky fun movie to watch with some buddies. But at the end of the day, I think it's got to be Mad Max.
It's freaking dominating.
Tell me that wouldn't be such a fun movie to just get a group of people together and be like, let's watch cars explode.
Listen,
let's witness it together.
I'm not disagreeing with you. Here are my other finalists, because I think that there's a few. Godzilla -1 is up there. It was such a fun movie. I took a group of 4 people with me, and at the end of it, like one person told me, that was the first foreign language movie I've ever watched, which is like, I felt very honored that like this person would go to the movies with me, watch a whole movie in Japanese, and then have that much fun with it. Like, that was really cool. I think, you know, for all of the weirdness I experienced at the theater, Parasite in the theater, when that chick's head hits the back of the wall, I have never heard a group of people collectively go like, ugh! It was awesome.
It's so good, dude. I really wish I saw that in theaters.
And then honestly, I think a sneaky candidate here is also The Holdovers, because it's a Christmas movie. Like, it really is a good movie. It's not like a theater movie necessarily, but it's a movie to watch with a group of people that you love. So I think those are all good candidates. I don't know that I'm going to talk you out of Mad Max Fury Road here, Brad.
Nah, dude. Even the way you talked about all the other ones were like, yeah, this is like a pretty good option. There's no beating Mad Max here.
All right. Well, we have now witnessed Mad Max win, I think, 3 of our 6 awards this episode. So it is freaking dominating right now, which does not bode well for the film it's going to face in the final 8. So we're wrapping it up here today. Let's give this list of our final 8 movies, Brad. These are all absolute bangers. So we've got Whiplash, 1917, Parasite, The Holdovers, Oppenheimer, Mad Max Fury Road, Past Lives, and Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Bob,
what a great collection of films, dude.
I was going to say, this is my, other than La La Land, this was my top 8. Like, tell me this isn't one of the best brackets we've ever had.
Oh, it's real good. It's real good.
Here's the wild thing, dude. I think that this year has shifted my attitude on modern movies. Because, like, at the end of the day, we have spent so much time complaining about Disney and Marvel and, you know, live action remakes, deservedly, right? They have overwhelmed at the box office in ways that I don't think they deserve to. It doesn't mean that great movies aren't being made. Mm-hmm. And this season has proven that to me.
What a great way to wrap up this episode. It's the first time we've ever done a round of 16 episode. I think we may need to institute it forever now, because this was great conversation and, again, a long episode, Brad. So we'll be back on Tuesday to break down all the way to the championship, the round of 8, the round of 4, and the championship. We'll also list our top 5 whiskeys of the season. So join us on Tuesday for that episode. One more time, folks, if you go to our website, filmwhiskey.com, grab your own bracket and tell us who your champion would be. We would love to hear from you on any of our social media accounts, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube at Film Whiskey.
Or if you want to join the conversation, you can jump into our Discord. We're on there every single day talking about movies and whiskey. So if you'd like to, you can find a link at the end of every single one of our show notes.
All right, make sure you join us on Tuesday as we wrap up season number 9. But until then, I'm Bob Book.
I'm Brad G.
And we'll see you next time.